Hey everybody, Alpha Glisi Trains again with Howard Zane and Scott Nichols. And the reason I'm doing this video is because Scott is an excellent modeler. He's a fantastic modeler. I don't want to blow your horn, Scott, but you did a lot of, you and Howard together worked on big sections of this layout. And I just want you to talk about it a little, what you guys did together. And we're going to show folks some of the things you guys did.
Well, we did what, probably 7 or 8 additions to the layout
like
over
that.
the year.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Scott's one of the few people that will really do work above the bench. I've had people help below the bench, but Scott understands exactly how I think, and so we get along just great.
Okay. Well, let's go see the first section you guys, or one of the many sections you guys did.
And a lot of this was done, I guess over the last 5 or 6 years.
About 5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of, if it's been a while since you've been here, yeah, there are some new things.
And essentially, it was in the late, let's see.
Like 2017, 2018,
yeah, like
in there, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And a lot of places, you know, Howard's like, hey, I want to add on, and instead of blowing the basement out and making it bigger, like, which is how you usually do things, we looked at places around the basement where, okay, maybe we can, you know, narrow this aisle up a little bit, maybe extend this peninsula a little bit, or what have you.
You're a real architect. I'm not.
No, I'm not really an architect, but yeah.
Well, let's go. Let me pause this and let's go take a look. All right, here we go. All right.
Ready?
Yep. Go ahead. Let's go.
Okay. The original section of this was ended over here. It was like a nub, and I had too much space. This was the town of Mac, and I dreamed it up one night coming back from a music gig out in the western part of the state. And I got home, probably around 2 o'clock in the morning, and I started working on this right away.
Man.
And I just turned off the phone and so forth, but I never finished it. So Scott came down, we started talking, and Scott had a lot of ideas, so we said, shit, let's finish this thing. So we did. And Scott, a lot of these are his ideas. We put this river in here, we put that house there.
Jesus.
And it looks a little more finished, and we cause that up there will be East Mac.
East Mac.
Yeah, now with the difference, the way you tell east and west of the model railroader, is you face the layout. To your left is west, and to your right is east. It's simple. Straight ahead is north. Your butt is facing south.
Wow. Now, Scott, you came up with the idea to put this creek through here?
Yeah, we just kind of came up, you know, hey, how can we do something interesting and not necessarily have to put in a bunch of track and things like that, and just, you know, some more scenic interest. And so the idea was to come up with this river, and of course Howard, you know, waterfalls are kind of one of his trademarks when he does
we had a creek in here before. We tied it into the original creek.
Tied into the original one that is there, so another waterfall going down. And then an interesting thing worth pointing out is the structure here. You know, a lot of Howard's designs he likes to call Appalachian Gothic. And this is anything but. If you notice, it looks very different from a lot of the other structures.
That was built for a client in North Carolina. And I shan't mention his name. There were 2 buildings. And somehow he didn't like what I was doing.
Okay.
So I said, I gave his deposit back. And we parted friends. And I kept the 2 buildings I completed. That was one of them.
Wow.
And the other one's on the other side.
Wow. And we're going to look at that.
That's where I was going to go with it. Is it was originally a commissioned design. Didn't he want structures made that resembled some structures on his own property or something?
Yeah, I don't. It's not fair to talk about. He might be watching this, but he was okay. Just that the problem was me, because it wasn't my design, and I don't like working with other people's designs.
Right.
So it was probably my fault.
But so Scott, you guys decided to jet this out a little bit.
We did.
Oh yeah,
we did.
So lost a little bit of aisle space, but it's not like my aisle space, because I have no aisle space. There's still plenty of aisle space.
About, what is this, 3 foot by 4 foot, and just kind of blended it in and blended the fascia into the existing.
Let's walk up here. Let's go up to East Mac now.
Well, wait, we've got this too.
We'll go back to this. We'll show you.
Okay. Scott, I had no idea you worked on this.
We did.
Here, this is incredible.
This Mac ended over here, so we added East Mac starts from here to here, so we added those buildings.
Okay.
The Brown House, the engine service facility.
Damn.
And we completed the river.
Holy.
Here's the waterfall still coming down.
Okay, so this waterfall was not there, and Scott, this was your idea?
Yes.
to put in this waterfall.
And we put this waterfall in here.
Good Lord, man. Yeah, this is what a brilliant idea. Look at that.
And then continued this yard down through here.
Yeah.
And tied it in. I guess that track used to end there.
Mhm.
This yard wasn't here? We added this too, didn't we?
Yeah, and
Yeah, I thought
did
so.
a real long lead
Yeah.
coming into the...
There, you added about 3 or 4 tracks in this section here. Is that what you
yeah,
get?
whatever
Something
it
like
is.
that, yeah.
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 3 or 4 tracks.
Because we had too much house space.
Wow.
Of course, you don't want to hear that because
Right.
your house space.
And
challenge.
I remember on the other side, I was actually down here when you guys were cutting wood. I remember.
Yeah. Now over here, the layout ended right here. So we added a staging area
Okay.
above ground. I used to have below ground staging. You don't want to do that, especially as you get older,
Okay.
because you're not going to get to it.
Right.
And rather than do something just straight too, if you look down that way, put a nice big
Now,
series of S curves in.
changing the subject, I just found my shop towels.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
When
Damn,
we go back here,
Now it's a good day.
Yes.
Good day.
I remember this. I remember
this is about,
when.
probably about 35, 40 feet long.
And there's still plenty of aisle here, folks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, somebody who's wide and I'm pretty overweight can easily fit through here. And you guys jetted out. I remember you guys jetted out from about
18 inches or so.
about 18 inches from here all the way out to here. Wow. It's a nice yard. And all
The
this
thing
was
that's
still
really
here.
neat is how the track is curved coming in here instead of just doing kind of a straight yard.
Mhm.
Just adds a lot of scenic interest having the S curves there, or whatever you want to call
Oh
them.
yeah, that's beautiful.
And then
Then we have
Same deal
over
down.
here. Now, one of the things that influenced me, of course, was John Allen. Now, of course, this does not look anything like John Allen's turntable, but the idea of the turntable in this position kind of fascinated me. So
Oh, yeah.
We built this turntable as you come down.
Yeah, because when you look at a lot of the
Yeah.
pictures of the Gory and Defeated,
Hey, you don't have all the lights on.
yeah, when you look at a lot of photos of the Gory and Defeated, you saw a lot of the locomotives that were exposed. And that's what you guys were trying to do in this section.
that's right.
And it really does look like something on the Gory and Defeated because, yeah, John Allen had that run of locomotives across.
Yeah, that
That
was one
were-
of my favorite shots.
Wow. Yeah, so you
All
guys.
the turntables work. What we did with a lot of them is we changed it. We put them to analog
Mhm.
because that DCC is analog's. That's why I have these little power packs.
Right.
Just do it the old-fashioned way. Eyeball them.
Wow. This is beautiful. So Howard, you were doing the engine house, and Scott, you were doing laying the track and doing the scenery. Or?
Oh, we did everything.
Yeah, we kind of did. I mean, Howard built all the structures. I kind of came up with some of the scenery.
Yeah.
Howard came up with the track plan.
Scott is qualified in any kind of
no.
scenery work.
Yes. Wow.
You will be.
Yes. Well, let's go see some more. Let me pause it.
Go with it.
All right, we're down in another section of the layout, and I did not know this was an add-on. So Scott and Howard, you guys added this peninsula here.
Another turntable.
Another turntable.
Another turntable and engine servicing
Engine
facility.
facilities and so forth.
Wow.
And just kind of blended it into the existing lower section that was here.
Mm-hmm. So this was already
'Cause
here
I think
in
this
Bernard.
originally kind of stopped and just
It stopped
dead-ended
there.
back into
That was
here,
added, yeah.
and we blended it all in
Wow.
and brought it across just to kind of fill in this space because you don't need like a 10-foot width here.
Right. Right.
So why not fill it in and
Right.
add some more? And
And-
then we kind of did the same exact thing over here.
Oh, this, yeah.
I remember
Howard's right
this.
shoulder. And this was a bit bigger of an undertaking than anything else we had done because it basically goes from here
Mm-hmm.
all the way down and tied into the river down here. So what is that, about 10 or 12 feet?
Yeah, I remember.
Section here.
I remember
is-
this.
There were 17 sections in this layout. That's removable too.
Wow.
But there are 17 sections in the layout that pop out.
Wow. You're gonna have to show us where those are, Howard, because
Keith,
we've
next time
been
you clean track,
we've been.
make it easier.
It's a little late. We're almost done.
And all of it was seamed into the existing river here.
Right.
And we did this section here.
And then the final section we did was over here to Howard's left.
Now this over here is antithetical to everything I like, but this was the house I had the problem with the customer. He said his shingles were black, and I said, no, they're not, they're dark brown. Well, he wanted black shingles. And I said, sir, all I'm going to do is give your deposit back. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to do that.
I don't
So
know.
kept the house.
They kind of look black to me with gray stains on them. So
They look brown and
I don't know.
gray.
That was the
Yeah.
color right
Yeah.
there.
It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
That was.
It's beautiful. But so you guys didn't do this yard back here, but you
No, that
jetted
was
out
existing,
here.
But we
Yeah.
kind of filled in this turn
Okay.
here, and because Howard had all these structures just sitting on a shelf, and what kind of motivated this whole thing to happen, I'm like, well, why don't we do something with the structures and work them into the layout somewhere? And he was like, no, I'm not worried about it. And then the more he thought about it, I just took the mere suggestion, and he went right down the rabbit hole, and we started building.
So it's kind of this drop down.
Oh, yeah.
That, like I say, this yard, folks, was pre-existing, but it
Mhm.
drops down here into this new jet out.
This section here is all masonry. That was the exterior of the layout right here.
Okay. Now this section here, Howard, this was here before, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Right, that was already there.
The tool building
Right.
facility.
Now the bigger one, the Vietnamese dairy.
Right, that was already there.
That was right. I built that
That was
section.
holy cow, right?
Right. Yeah, we won't. But all this is new. You guys did together. I had
you know,
no
one of
idea.
the things that I like about this too, and this kind of highlights, like, you know, when you build a layout, everybody's tempted to always run track to something. Like every warehouse or every like facility has to have track going to it, and I think this demonstrates that you don't always, you know. Here, this can kind of be the focal point with trains running in the background. Trains don't always have to be the focus of a scene, and I
Right.
think this highlights that philosophy
That's
quite
very,
well.
very true.
And you guys, it's brilliant. You have your roads, brilliant use of roads. Okay, you don't have a train coming down here, but you've got a well thought out road, little road running down here to service everything.
Well, it adds scenic interest, and
Well,
the
the
other
other
thing too,
thing-
doing stuff below grade like this is
Yeah.
you introduce all this negative
real
relief
world,
too, which
Al.
is like the real world.
The real world is rolling hills and grades, unless you're in Louisiana, eastern Kansas, or whatever. And here's the real world here.
Yeah,
That's very easy to do. We've talked about this many times.
yeah.
And,
Beautiful. So this concludes pretty much what, this is a lot. I mean, this is just to say this concludes. This is a hell of a lot of work, you
well,
guys.
there's still more I'd like to do eventually once I get out of this walker.
Yes. Well, guys, thanks very much
You're
for this.
welcome. Thanks, Al.
All righty. Thanks, Howard. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.